What's going on, everybody? We're back here on the channel, youtube.com/Bryan Fonseca. One of the things that gets me most excited in sports is international play, specifically when we have country versus country in basketball, in other sports as well. Right now, I've been consuming Euros and Copa America in football, but we have basketball to talk about because Olympic qualifiers are coming up. They are basically here at this point. This is one of the things that gets me most jacked up, so I can't wait to get into it, which we're going to try to do briefly here in this video. We have 8 teams qualified already for the men's basketball portion of the Olympics. That's due to basically qualifiers from, how guys competed in the World Cup and things of that nature, and also a host gets an automatic bid. So the 8 teams who already have slots. From Europe, we have France, who is the host of the 2024 Olympic Games. You also have Germany, who won the World Cup, automatically qualified for the Olympics. Serbia, who got to the finals of the World Cup, and because they were one of the top 2 teams from Europe to finish, Europe gets 2 automatic bids based on placement in the World Cup. Those teams advance. So from Europe, you have 3 of the 8 spots. You have Germany, you have Serbia, and you have France. Elsewhere in the world, you have Australia getting the bid, which is basically between Australia and New Zealand. Australia finished better in the World Cup. They're going to get the automatic bid. Last time out, they got the bronze. They beat Slovenia, Luka Doncic, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. For Asia, it's Japan. They finished better than anybody else did in the World Cup. From the Asian nations, from the African nations, you have South Sudan, who's going to be in the Olympics for men's basketball for the first time. And then from the Americas, you have the United States, despite their disappointing performance from the 2023 World Cup, finishing 4th. They were one of the top 2 teams from the Americas to automatically qualify and get an Olympic bid. They're going to be there with Canada, who got a bronze medal from the 2023 World Cup. Now, joining them are going to be 4 more teams from the 24 teams competing for these 4 spots. And there are going to be tournaments of 6 each. Only 12 teams get to the Olympics. Here are the teams. Here's who's going to be competing where. And we're going to go through each bracket one at a time quickly. The first tournament is going to be the one that gets a lot of attention from a mainstream standpoint. That's going to be in Greece. Competing in that one is Greece, Slovenia, Egypt, Croatia, the Dominican Republic, and New Zealand. Unfortunately, New Zealand often doesn't have a lot of their top guys. Egypt's not expected to be competitive. Dominican Republic, who I thought was a threat in the World Cup to get to the quarterfinals and did not, just fell short. They're not going to have some of their best players like Karl Anthony Towns. So we're really looking at Greece, Slovenia, and Croatia. Croatia probably has a shot to be a dark horse here. Greece, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Slovenia, Luka Doncic. Also for Slovenia, Vlatko Končar, who did not play in the World Cup due to injury. He is returning to the Slovenian national team, and he is going to be in this tournament. So Greece and Slovenia, they're the 2 favorites, even in terms of betting. Greece is a slight favorite, probably because they're home and they have a little bit more of an international pedigree. But Luka Doncic is rapidly changing that for Slovenian national team. I think Slovenia can really win this. I do. I would probably lean towards Greece because they're home. I don't know what state Luka Doncic is going to be in after being banged up with Greece. And I know this isn't like an all-time great roster, but they still have some of their mainstays other than Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have Georgios Papagiannis. You have Thomas Walkup, who's a very, very effective international player, who's very good in the NCAA with Stephen F. Austin before. Greece is still good. I think the Slovenian team shouldn't be overlooked, and I think they're very capable of winning and building off that momentum that they established from last Olympics that got derailed a little bit with their performance in the World Cup. I would favor Greece by a little bit, but I really think Slovenia can get this done. On to the next one. In Latvia, this is a compelling tournament. We have Latvia, we have Brazil. That could be the final. That is expected to be the final. That would be a pretty damn good final. You also have Montenegro, Georgia, the Philippines, and Cameroon. Cameroon doesn't have their top guys. Philippines doesn't have their top guys. Georgia doesn't have their top guys. Montenegro, sneaky good. Nikola Vucevic and Kendrick Perry in particular. Not sure that they're going to have enough to win this bracket, but it wouldn't shock me if they were to upset Latvia or Brazil and get to the final. Brazil is a very, very tough team. They've had some recent international success. They beat Canada in the World Cup. They beat Greece in the World Cup in 2019. Figured out how to beat Giannis. Iago dos Santos, who's somebody a lot of people took note of in the World Cup. and has been playing at some of the highest levels of European basketball, plays in Serbia right now. Latvia has Artur Zagars, who returned from an injury, a devastating injury, but is back now. He was one of the reasons Latvia had so much success in their World Cup run, getting to the quarterfinals. Davis Bertans is on the preliminary roster, as is his brother Darius Bertans. They have shooters, they have size, they can spread the floor, but it wouldn't shock me if Brazil did win this tournament, but I would favor Latvia just by a little bit. Spain in Valencia, and you also have the other 5, Poland, Finland, Angola, Lebanon, and the Bahamas. The Bahamas is, to me, the sexy underdog here. They were plus 650 as of yesterday. And if you look at the betting lines, that hasn't really changed much throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. Now it will, because there's going to be NBA talent on this roster, and that's going to pique the interest of the betting public. With the Bahamas, they have DeAndre Ayton. They're expected to have him back on the roster. They have Buddy Hield. They're expected to have him back. They're expected to have Eric Gordon. They could potentially have a VJ Edgecombe, who's a future NBA player, joining some of the other guys we're talking about, maybe an Isaiah Mobley, who is on a preliminary roster, who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a team that, to get the right to be here, beat Argentina in Argentina twice. They've never been to the Olympics. I think that they have the athleticism to potentially take down a Spain who is not peak Spain right now. Willy Hernan Gomez, Juancho Hernan Gomez, Juan Nunez, who just got drafted into the NBA. Spain is a good team, but doesn't have sort of the top end guys that they typically do. I don't really think that they should be overpowered as a minus 600 favorite, even though this is going to take place in Spain. So I would look for the Bahamas to potentially upset Spain here. And I think that if Spain does win, and if they do get to the Bahamas, it's going to be a fight. And then the last one, and this is the one that emotionally I'm probably the most invested in San Juan, Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, we don't get these. We do not get these at all. But hosting is Puerto Rico. Going over there, Lithuania, Italy, Bahrain, Ivory Coast, Mexico, essentially between 3 teams. Lithuania is the favorite, Italy slightly after, Puerto Rico is like plus 470. Lithuania, you got to favor them even without Jonas Valanciunas. They have Domantas Sabonis. He's the best player in this side of the bracket. They're going to rebound the hell out of the ball. They're going to out-rebound everybody here. They have the size. They have some shooting as well. They shot in the World Cup only on 25 attempts per game from 3, but 42% from 3-point range. Not sure that that's going to carry over in terms of sample size in the World Cup and then carry it over into the Olympics. And this is months ago. They're going to play some bully ball, and they're going to be problematic for anybody in this bracket. Italy struggled from 3 in the World Cup. They just have Puerto Rico's number. They beat them in the World Cup in 2023. They beat them in Olympic qualifiers last time out. They're going to play each other in group play right away, and we're going to get an assessment of how this is going to go. The reason why I think Puerto Rico could actually win this, and I would favor Lithuania, and I actually think Lithuania is going to win, but walk with me from a betting perspective real quick. Plus 470 Puerto Rico. They're the host. They can get the shooting variance. To try to make up for their size, they're going to shoot a lot of threes, and they shot about 38% from 3 with volume, over 30 threes per game in the World Cup. Again, small sample, but the shooting is what really got them a victory against the Dominican Republic, which was a little bit of an upset. It also lost them the game against Italy because they couldn't hit a shot. So the variance, wasn't quite in their favor. We'll see how it is on their home crowd. That crowd, I can tell you, is going to be amazing from opening tip, probably even before. Right now, as you're watching this, they're going insane. Tremont Waters is awesome. He's one of the best playmakers that we're going to be talking about in the midst of all this. He can shoot. Jose Alvarado, same thing, except better because he's in the NBA and is also a very good perimeter defender, sneaky perimeter defender, but he can shoot. Lithuania should win this, but Puerto Rico is somebody I would look at as a sneaky underdog bet. And I think because of the shooting variance, I like them, even though Italy beats them, I like them to sort of play the variance game, and they're home. So that has to be worth a couple points as well. That's all we have for this video. We're going to be covering some more Olympic content stuff here, also with New York Post Sports, also at Action Network, but I'm going to try to do it here independently as well, even though it's a lot of work. Please do subscribe, rate, review, and comment things that you would like to see me do. So let me know if you have any requests, but we'll be back very soon talking Olympics and other things in the sports world. very soon on this channel. Thank you for watching.